All right, so today's notes is called Pay Periods and Hourly Rates. And the essential question for today is how do we compute earnings given an annual salary and hourly pay and overtime given an hourly rate? Okay, so that's our essential question. The warm up, I would pause and do it on your own just to make sure you understand it. I'm going to go ahead and go through it. So I would definitely check your answers afterwards. So to convert to a percent, remember that I have to divide 2 divided by 87. Okay, so 2 divided by 87 is 0.0229. So I'm going to do 23. Okay, and then to convert it to a percent, remember all I have to do is multiply it by 100. So if I multiply this by 100, then I get 2.3%. Okay, so that would be the answer to the first warm-up. Convert each 2% to a decimal. Okay, so the first one would be 0.0034. Again, you can take 0.34 and divide it by 100. Okay, and that would give you that. Okay, and then 86% would be 0.86 as a decimal. Number 4, we have Ariel has an annual salary of 55.2K. And again, remember this just means 55,200. Okay. What is her weekly salary? So you're going to take 55,200 and divide it by, since we're talking about weeks, there's 52 weeks in a year. So 55,200 divided by 52 would give you 1,061 and 54 cents. Okay, so that would be that result. And then what is her monthly salary? So again, I would take 55,200 and divide it by 12 this time because again, there's 12 months in a year. So 55,200 divided by 12 gives us $4,600. Okay, so that would be her monthly, what she would receive monthly. All right, so moving on here. So here's some key terms you have to understand. The first one is weekly. Basically, I mean, there's 52 weeks in a year. Bi-weekly means you get paid twice. Okay, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks. So if there's 52 weeks in a year, that means you're going to get 26 paychecks. Semi-monthly, semi just means 2. Semi-monthly would be you just get paid twice a month. So if there's 12 months, that means you would get 24 paychecks. Monthly, there's 12 months. Direct deposit, this means that your paychecks are automatically deposited into your bank account. Hourly rate is how much you get paid every hour. Regular hours is what you get in a normal work week. Let me see. Overtime hours, once you go above the regular hours that you're scheduled to work, anything extra is overtime. Overtime hourly rate is usually greater than the hourly rate for the regular hours. So normally you get paid time and a half for overtime. So you get paid a little more. There's double pay where you get paid twice the amount. Gross pay is how much you get paid altogether. So it's the hourly pay plus your overtime pay, and that's before taxes. And then minimum wage is basically the rate that you get paid depending on what state you live in. So that's a couple things to know here. So let's look at example 1. And again, if at any point you need to pause the video, make sure that you do that. We have Christina is paid bi-weekly. Okay. Her annual salary is $37,000. The question is, what is her bi-weekly salary rounded to the nearest cent? Okay, so a couple things to know here is that she is paid bi-weekly. Okay, here's her annual salary, and we want it rounded to the nearest cent. Okay, so what we're gonna do, so since she's getting paid bi-weekly, that means she's gonna get 26 paychecks. Okay. And how do we figure that out? Well, there's 52 weeks, and you divide that by 2, right? And you get 26, okay? So 26 paychecks. So we're going to take 37,000 and we're going to divide it by 26, okay? Which gives us okay? So that means that every check would be $1,423.08. Okay, and again, we go on to the nearest cent, so that's what it would be. So her biweekly salary would be $1,423.08. And again, if you have any questions, we can discuss that tomorrow. So Manny is paid biweekly. His biweekly salary is $1,239. The question is, what is his annual salary? Okay, so this time you're given the biweekly salary. So remember that he is gonna get paid 26 paychecks, right? Because he's paid every 2 weeks. So 26 paychecks. So that means we're gonna take this 1,239, and we're gonna multiply it by 26. And that'll give us what his annual salary is. So we got 1,239 multiplied by 26 gives us the total of 32,214. Okay, so his annual salary is $32,214. All right. Next, example 2, we have Maureen works at a local Chicken King restaurant. Her regular hourly wage is $9.70. If she regularly works 40 hours per week, what is her regular weekly pay? So we're interested. We know that every hour she gets paid $9.70, and she regularly works for 40 hours per week. And so we're interested in her regular weekly pay. Okay? So what we're going to do is take the number of hours. Okay, we're going to take the number of hours, which is 40, and multiply it by her hourly rate, which is $9.70. Okay, so when we do that, 40 times 9.70 is equal to $388. Okay, so that means that her regular weekly pay would be $388. Okay, if she works 40 hours a week. Okay. All right. Example 3, we have Janice earns $10 per hour if her regular hours are 40 hours per week and she receives time and a half overtime. Last week she worked 45 hours. Okay. So the question is, what is her regular gross pay? Okay. Regular gross pay means how much she gets paid for working the regular hours. So regular hours, she gets 40 hours and $10 per hour. So what are we going to do? We're going to take 40 and multiply it by her hourly rate. So 40 times 10 is $400. Okay? $400. And I'm sorry if that's unclear. Okay, so it's $400 a week. That's her gross pay. Okay? Then the next question is, what was her hourly overtime rate? Okay? Now, here's the thing. She's getting paid time and a half. Okay, so time and a half means she's getting paid $10 times, plus half of what she gets paid. So half of 10 is 5. So basically, I would take the $10 hourly rate and multiply it by 1.5, right? Time and a half. 1.5 is time and a half. And so when I do 10 times 1.5, that gives me 15. Okay? So she gets paid 15 for those overtime. That's her overtime rate. So for hours after 40, okay, anything after 40 hours, she's getting paid $15 an hour. Okay? So what was her overtime pay? So we have to figure out how much she worked overtime. So we're going to take, she worked a total of 45 hours minus 40. So she worked a total of 5 hours overtime. And I'll put OT, right, for overtime. So what we're going to do is take this 15 and multiply it by 5, right, because 15 is how much she's getting paid for those 5 hours. So 15 times 5 gives us $75. So she gets $75 overtime. So what was her total pay for the week? So it's going to be the $400 she made for working 40 hours plus the 75 that she made overtime. So she got paid a total of $475. Okay. All right. And then example 4, we have, so what do we do when we have letters, not numbers? So last week, Saul worked R regular hours and T overtime hours at a time and a half rate. He earned $700. If X represents his hourly rate, express X in terms of R and T. Okay, so what we're going to do is we know he works R regular hours. Okay, so what's going to happen is that he gets paid this hourly rate. And if I want to figure out how much he gets paid for the hourly rate, then I have to multiply it by the time. So X times T. Okay, plus he's going to work in overtime pay, right? So if X represents his hourly rate, expect, okay, so T, let me see, T overtime hours at a time and a half rate, okay? So we're going to take R, we're going to multiply it by T. So we got regular hours times, okay, hold on, let me back up. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, so it's X times T. So X times T will give us, okay, let me back up a bit, guys. Okay, so it's X times R, right? Because R is the regular hours, X represents the hourly rate, okay? Plus, it's time and a half, so it's 1.5 times X, okay? Because you're getting paid 1.5 more, okay? And we're going to multiply that by how many hours was worked for overtime, okay? And that's going to equal 700. Okay, I think I might have confused you here, so if you have any questions, please let me know tomorrow. Okay, other than that, that is it for today's notes.